Hey guys, it's Simplifier Guns. I wanted to bring you another Glock review. This one's going to be the Glock 23 Gen 4. This is it right here. Flip over and get this side. This is actually my brother's gun. He's loaning it to me for this review. There. Turn on the light, make it a little bit easier. So, like I said, Gen 4 Glock 23. It's a great gun. Safety check it for you. Slide back. I took the magazine out. So you can see that there's nothing in there. You always want to manually check because there can be a round lodged in the chamber. There's not. So this gun is safe. Put the slide forward. Alright, let's start. So this gun, I will pull up Glock's website and give you the specs straight off of their website. This is a Glock 23 in 40 cal. The weight is 21.16 ounces unloaded, and loaded it's 31.03 ounces. So it's a pretty hefty gun, but you know, this, I don't consider this something that you're really going to conceal. It's a little bit bulky. We'll get into barrel length and stuff like that in a little bit, but it's one of the more bulky guns. I definitely prefer my Glock 26 over this, just for size. They both shoot really accurately, and I would trust my life on either of them, but from a sheer size standpoint and concealed carry standpoint, because that's basically what most of my movies are going to be about, is from the concept of concealed carry or open carry is what I'm going to be thinking of. So this one's a little bit too bulky for that. Let's see. The length is 6.85 inches. So that's where we're going to get into. You know, it's just a little bit too big to conceal. And Glocks are, you know, they're kind of thick through the middle, anyways. They're not like an M&P Shield or an XDS or anything like that. They've always been a little bit more boxy on the top. A lot of guys used to call them blocks instead of Glocks because of that reason. But you know, you take it and you leave it. So let's go to the height. From the bottom of the pistol grip to the top of the sights is 5 inches. And I'm assuming that's with your magazine also, because that adds about 1/8 of an inch. So 5 inches, like I said, kind of plays to the bulky factor. It does carry 13 in the magazine, though. It's a pretty solid number. You know, 13 is enough to get just about anything done. It's not an XDM where it can carry 19 plus 1, but you know, 13 is pretty good too. And they actually offer options for a 15 and a 17 round magazine as well. So you know, with Glock, you're always going to have those options. Width, like I just talked about, it's a little over 1 inch wide. It's 1.18 inches is what Glock website says. So it's a little bit thick, especially if you're going to carry it on your hip. I'm a skinnier guy, and so you know, anything that's on my hip is going to stick out a little bit more. So if I carry in the front by my belt buckle, or I'll carry about 4 or 5 o'clock on my back side, on the right side. Those are my two preferred spots to carry. But if I'm in the winter going to the store or whatever, I can put it right on my hip, and I got my jacket to cover it, so that's not a big deal. So in the winter, you know, potentially anything can become a carry weapon, but I would say not so much for this one. The barrel height is 1.16 inches. The trigger pull from the factory, you'll get a 5.5 pound trigger, which is pretty standard with Glocks. I know a lot of the other companies, you know, they can say a 5.5 pound trigger, but sometimes you'll get 5, sometimes you'll get 6. With Glock, it's usually about 5.5 pounds, and I don't have the tools to actually test it myself personally here and now. So you're just going to have to kind of trust me on what I'm saying about that. The trigger travel, it only moves about a half of an inch, which is great, and you really notice that when you go to shoot. The trigger reset is also really, really good. I don't know the exact spec on it, but once you fire and you hold that trigger to the rear, if you bring it forward, you don't have to bring it forward too much before the trigger resets and you're ready to go again. So that's a definite plus of the Glock. Your line of sight from the rear sight to the front sight is 6.02 inches. So you have a pretty decent sight radius. To get a good sight picture and find your target down range and squeeze your trigger to the rear. Really good for that, and it definitely gets a thumbs up over my 26 for that. Let's see, the barrel rifling, it has a right hand hexagonal twist, and the length of twist is 9.84 inches. Those are just specs. I wouldn't purchase a gun or not purchase a gun because of those, but I'm just telling you what Glock has to offer. So, back to my personal opinions, now that I got the specs out of the way. I've had the opportunity to shoot this gun, and it shoots great, just like every other Glock that I've shot, so I was not surprised there. The part that I was surprised in, for a good reason, was when I shot it, it didn't really seem to have any muzzle flip. It was pretty reduced in that aspect, and I think the weight of the frame the weight of the slide definitely played a key factor in that. But also, I think just the way that the Gen 4s have done their stippling on the grips and just the backstrap addition, I think it allows you to get a higher purchase on the weapon, and in doing so, you can get some texture as well, and you can really control the weapon a lot better than you could with, say, a Gen 3 or a different weapon altogether. I love how the recent gun manufacturers are putting the back straps. The first one that I owned was an XDM, and it had the back strap, and that was one of my favorite features about it, because you can customize it to your own hand rather than buying a gun that fits your hand. You can buy any gun and make it fit your hand, if that makes sense. Another feature that I like is all the ambidextrous adaptivities that I've guessed they've made. For example, this magazine release, my brother has it on this side, which for me is a little awkward, but he likes to be able to, instead of rolling the weapon in his hand to push the button on this side, he likes to just pick up his middle finger and push it. That's personal preference. It works for him, so I can't bash it that much, but I definitely prefer the more traditional thumb release. But I do like how they're making this more lefty friendly. So that's a good addition and another good option if you're a lefty looking for a handgun. I know it can be tough, especially if you're looking for a rifle. They only make AR-15s coming out one way, ejecting one way, and that could be a pain if it's ejecting right in front of your eyes, and maybe you get distracted or whatever. So this is it's a good option. Also, I really like the sights. I'm going to move this a little bit so I'm not pointing myself right in the head, but I'll try to get you a nice sight picture. So that's kind of what you're working with. When you actually go up to the range, it looks a little bit more full, almost like the front sight sides touch either side of the rear sight, so it fits pretty flush, and you get a really good picture for it. But it's they're great sights. Every Glock that I've shot from the factory comes super accurate. I know some guns you got to do a little bit of tinkering with them. These ones seem like they'll shoot right out of the box in the X-ring, so you may have to play with them a little bit, but ultimately I think they're really, really accurate out of the box. They are, from what I've heard, really easy to adjust your sights. They have a sight pusher tool that Glock makes that makes pushing your sight left or right or completely out to changing it to a Trigicon sight or a sight of that nature, a little more night sight-ish. They make it a little more, a little easier to push that out and change that out. So, your left and right, your windage is really easy to adjust for. Now, if it's shooting high or low, more than likely it's user error because these are known for being accurate out of the box. But, on a rare occasion it could have, maybe they tighten it down too much when they're putting it on, or it's a little loose. So maybe check that yourself, and if it's still shooting high or low, take it to your gunsmith and have them test it, and maybe they can send it back to the Glock factory and have them fix it. So I don't know. This is also a feature that my brother did. He took white nail polish and really just highlighted it. I think it looks cool, but I wouldn't personally do it on mine. I would almost be worried about, because he did it on the back of his magazines as well. Now this magazine has rounds in it, so don't freak out. But he did it on the bottom right there where it says Glock 2 Austria, and up at the top where it says the 40 caliber. So he did that. I probably wouldn't do that just from a standpoint of I don't know if after you fire the weapon for a while, is it going to get hot? Is that nail polish going to start to melt? Is it going to stick to the inside of your magazine well? That's just one thing that I didn't want to have happen. So, not really for me. It does make it look a little cooler though. It pops, but apart from that, no practicality. Let's strip this down real quick for you. For those that don't know, I've already checked it, but I'm a safety nut, so I like to check things. Point in a safe direction, fire the trigger, pull it back about 1/8 of an inch, just enough to pull those takedown levers, and it slides right off. And you got your lower, and you got your upper. And this is a characteristic of the Gen 4s with the dual recoil spring. It's unlike the other generations. And like I said, you've got the ambidextrous magazine release. That's another feature. You got your barrel. See if I can give you a nice little kind of James Bondish. So it's got a good looking barrel, nice and clean, real smooth on the inside. You can definitely tell that it's really well put together. So that's pretty much it for the Glock review without getting into the nitty gritty. Like I said, it was a great gun. Shoots great on the range. Maybe, in my opinion, a little too big for concealing, but in the winter, throw a jacket over this. He's got a Black Hawk holster for it also. I love these things. As you probably saw if you watched my Glock 26 review. That's a great holster. And like my other one, really audible, really solid. They must have redone their Black Hawk line, or their Serpa 2 line, because from this one to this one that I had for a 1911 that my dog kind of got a hold of, whoops, this one wasn't as solid as say this Glock one is, and I'm thinking it's just a time thing. They've kind of figured out what doesn't work and what works in this one, and they've kind of revamped it, and now you end up with something like this. So, great holster, really audible click. That one went in on its own weight, actually. I mean, it's a good gun. I would encourage anybody to go out and purchase it. I think we paid just shy of $560 for it, or $570, so not too bad. It's about what you're going to expect from a brand new Glock. The Glock also does come with, I'll use my Glock 26 case. It comes with this handy dandy Glock case. You open it up, and it comes with all these little goodies. So you've got your little handle that you can apply your brushes to. It's got your different back straps along with the little backstrap pusher tool. Of course, like any handgun that you buy, it's gonna, or I guess new, or unless the previous owner kept it, your test cartridge from the factory. It comes with a little speed loader, which I find useful, but I don't really use them all that often. Just because I don't usually load full capacities if they're going to be sitting there for a while. It's not really good on the spring and the follower of the magazine, so I tend to just stay away from that. But you know, to each his own. So if that's something that you wanted to do, that speed loader or the loader tool is definitely a good option. So all in all, you know, this is a great gun. As far as from my perspective, like I told you before, from concealed carry, open carry, you know, practicality, I would say this gun is probably a high B. And the only reason that it gets the down is ammo is more expensive, and you know, in the economy, you know, especially myself, you got to be more mindful of money and finances and stuff. And also just for bulk, it's, you know, it's kind of thick just like any other Glock, but I think more along the lines of barrel length and slide length. It's just a little too much if you're going to try to conceal it in your back towards your pocket area. You know, sometimes it's going to protrude at the bottom near your wallet, or sometimes if it's on your hip, it's going to kind of stick out. And in the front, you're just kind of like smacking yourself around. So I'm not really a big fan of that. But accuracy-wise, it does get get one up on, you know, my Glock 26 for accuracy, because it does have that slide length, or the sight length. You have a better sight picture to really plant rounds on your target accurately downrange. So all in all, like I said, B+, good weapon. If you have the capabilities to go rent one at, you know, a local range or something, I would definitely suggest it. With any firearm, before you purchase it, you want to make sure that you know as much as you can about it to really understand what you're getting into. Look, you know, maybe you can haggle your gunshot down, you know, a couple bucks or whatever if you think their price is too high. But that all goes into, you know, doing your homework and making sure you know what you're talking about. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I look to get some more out to you guys. I want to do a disassembly and assembly on this one on my Glock 26. Do some different things with holsters, and hopefully knock those out. So thanks for watching. Until next time, Semper Fire.